بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد
اللهم صل على محمد
وآله الطيبين الطاهرين لا سيما بقية الله في الأراضين عجل الله تعالى فرجه الشريف اللهم أخرجني من ظلمات الوهم وأكرمني بنور الفهم اللهم افتح علينا أبواب رحمتك وانشر علينا خزائن علومك برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. We, alhamdulillah, have tawfiq to continue our discussion about Unit 3 of Islamic belief system. In this session, we study two important concepts which are very closely related to each other. Qadaa and Qadar. What is Qadaa? What is Qadar? What is the relation between them? Do they contradict our freedom or not? Are they changeable or not? What is our role? Are they fixed already, or they are still open? So these are issues that inshallah we want to discuss. In Arabic, Qadar and Qadr are very similar. The same root, the same writing, only the pronunciation is different. And the meaning is also the same. It means measure. Qadar means measure. Sometimes it is used for other meanings as well. For example, when it comes to Qadr, we have Laylatul Qadr. As you have seen in books of tafsir, they say measure, they say might, they say power. So it can be also because we have also qudrat, power. But normally the meaning of qadr or qadar is measure. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, إِنَّا كُلَّ شَيْءٍ خَلَقْنَاهُ بِقَدَرٍ. We have created everything with a measure. Now, sometimes you see a person like an artist who is painting not only meter, or not only even every inch, even you cannot say every millimeter. No, every point is carefully measured and decided. You cannot make a painting unless you are careful about every point. How much of this color to use, how much of that color to use, or if you want to make a combination of the colors, how much percentage from this or from that. Everything is very well measured. Or for example, you want to cook. You cannot just, put some rice and then, fill it with water and, close your eyes and, put salt and, pepper and, say it becomes delicious. Especially those people who have art of cooking. They are very careful. Even 1 gram of, salt, 1 gram of, spice can be important. So everything is with measure. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says the creation of this world is also with measure. It's not that things happen in bulk. We don't have anything in bulk in creation or loose. No, everything is measured. Even Quran says that your fingertips are so well measured that Allah, for saying that we are able to recreate and to have resurrection, He says, "Bala qadirina ala an nusawwiya banana." And it is interesting that how much unique is every person's fingertip. You know, I'm not saying 100%. I don't know scientifically. Is it possible to find two human beings exactly with the same? It seems not, but maybe scientifically it's possible. But even if, you know, among hundreds of thousands of people, everyone is different, it's amazing. So, everything is with measure. In another ayah about Qadar, Allah says, إن من شيء إلا عندنا خزائنه وما ننزله إلا بقدر معلوم. So these two verses, remember please, they are not in the book. So one, إنا كل شيء خلقناه بقدر, truly we have created everything in measure. And the other ayah says, إن من شيء إلا عندنا خزائنه. There is nothing except its treasures are with us. وما ننزله إلا بقدر معلوم. And we do not send it down except in a fixed measure. Anything good comes from those treasures. Anything bad is because of lack of those treasures. Nothing bad comes from those treasures. Only good comes, but بِقَدَرٍ مَعْلُومٍ. How much rizq I should receive, how much knowledge I should receive, everything is measured. Okay. This is the literal meaning of Qadar. The literal meaning of Qadaa. In Arabic, Qadaa is used in different ways. For example, sometimes Qadaa means to judge. Qadi is the judge. Sometimes Qadaa in Arabic means to terminate. For example, the Quran says about those who are in hell, they call the patron, the one who is responsible for hell, نَادَوْا يَا مَالِكْ لِيَقْضِ عَلَيْنَا رَبُّكَ. They say, "Oh Malik, your Lord should terminate us. Ask him to finish us. We don't want to continue." لِيَقْضِ. So Qadaa can be judging, can be finishing, can be terminating. But in all these cases, there is something common. Qadaa means to put an end to something. Even Qadi, who is Qadi? No, the one who judges. The one who puts an end to a dispute. Yeah, two people are disputing, they have, case, they fight. Qadi finishes by making a firm decision. So, Qadar literally means measure. Qadaa means to finish, to make a decisive decision. Okay, these are the literal meaning. Now, what do we mean technically by Qadaa and Qadar? Our scholars have given sometimes a little bit different explanation of what is Qadaa and Qadar. The way we think would be maybe more understandable and maybe more capable of being explained is this. Please listen very carefully. We say everything is in measure. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for us has created different avenues and all are measured. Imagine you go out of your garage with your car. Then there are lots of roads. You can go north, you can go west, you can go east, you can go south or southeast, northwest, all different places. And everything is measured. And every destination has its own way. You cannot go towards north and expect to arrive in the south. Maybe after a turn, yes. But you cannot all the way go to the north and say, why I have not reached south, or vice versa. Okay? Who decides these different roads? You? No. Who decides which road to take? You. But after you choose which road, you cannot then say, I choose this road, but I decide which destination I should reach. Okay? So, because there are different roads, we say Qadar is not decisive in this sense. That it's undecided. It's up to you. But any path that you choose would lead to a final destination which is necessary. That is Qadaa. So, if I decide to not study, not to go to school, not to read any book, it would be necessary that I will remain ignorant. We can say this is Qadaa, that I am ignorant. But was it necessary that you go to this path and reach this Qadaa? No, you could have gone another path and have another Qadaa. Sometimes we use this explanation. We say, for anything to happen, you need many factors to come together. If you want to use philosophical language, you can say, for anything there is complete cause. Al-illatu tamma. Al-illatu tamma is a combination of incomplete causes. Al-illatu naqasa. Sometimes 10, sometimes 100, sometimes maybe million things have to come together so that something can happen. But if you have all the required things together, when the cause is completed, the effect has to certainly come. لا يجوز تخلف المعلول عن علته التامة. It's impossible that effect would not come when the cause is completed. Because you are contradicting yourself. Because you say complete cause is whatever you need for the existence of something. And now you say we have it and still this thing is not there. So it means that it's not complete. If it was complete, it has to come. So when the cause is completed, definitely, necessarily, the effect comes. That's Qadaa. Is decisive. But you have also a role Because your will is also part of the complete cause. It's part of it. For example, for us to come tonight here, was it something that you could only decide? No. Many factors had to come together so that me and you can meet tonight. Not only things had to happen, also many things had not to happen. Yeah? So not only there are conditions to meet, there were obstacles that alhamdulillah didn't happen. And also each of us decided to come. If I was deciding to come but you were not coming, we couldn't have class. If you were coming, I was not able to come. So our free will plus lots of conditions and non-existence of lots of obstacles all got together, but then it became necessary. When we have all these things, it became necessary to be here. Okay? Last night, we didn't have this class. Again, that was necessary. Why? Because we didn't want to be here. There were many reasons that class last night couldn't have happened. Although, logically it was possible, but practically it was impossible. So, when everything required for existence of something is there, that thing necessarily happens. In our theology, in our aqaid, we call this necessity qadaa. But qadaa can change. Not at the end, because that is necessary, but before that, by changing those factors. For example, you have heard this famous hadith, الدعاء يرد القضاء الذي أبرم إبرام. Dua, prayer, can change the qada which is firm. What does it mean? If it is firm, then how can it be changed? It means that everything was there except dua. The conclusion, the result was something. And now everything plus dua, the conclusion is something else. Okay? Imagine you have all the ingredients for food except salt. The taste is something. If you have all the ingredients plus salt, taste is something else. But if you don't have salt, the taste has to be like that. And if you have salt, the taste has to be like this. So it's firm, it's decisive. Okay? So, sometimes we are supposed to do something and we may not succeed because our efforts, other factors altogether are not sufficient for our success. But dua is an additional factor. Dua brings extra energy, extra power. Then with dua you may succeed. But other factors also should be there. If you don't do anything and just do dua, you may not succeed. But if you do everything plus dua, you may succeed. It's like, for example, I am trying hard to move something, but my power is not enough. I tell you, please, you also push. Then we together can move it. But if I say, no, please push, and I go and relax, then you also cannot push it. So we have to work, and also dua should come. You may have heard this story that a person had heard that if he opens an account in a bank, they give prizes, and one of the prizes can be a car. You get a car. So he was very happy, and he said to, himself, and he said to Allah that if I get this car, I go to Imam Raza. The first trip, I would go to Imam Raza. Then, when they announced the prizes, his name was not there. But still he went to Mashhad to show his goodwill. The next time he said, if I get the car, I walk to Mashhad. To make it, more tempting for Imam Raza to give me. So, again his name didn't come. The third time he said, I crawl. Again his name didn't come. So he reached Mashhad. It's a joke, of course. He reached Mashhad and he was injured and was very tired. So he went to sleep. Then in his dream, he was told, first open an account and then make Nazr. He had forgotten to make the account. So, you cannot say with dua, with tawassul, with shafa'ah, with salay rahim, everything will be sorted out and then you withdraw yourself. Actually, all those things can help if your soul and the spirit is there. You are involved there. Because these are spiritual tools and you have also to help. I'm not saying without your role they cannot do anything, but you bring the chance very low. So, there are lots of factors. With this combination, that's the result. With this combination, that's the result. And all are leading to firm, decisive result. This is called Qadaa. But no one should understand that things are predestined. Before I was born, it was decided, and I have just to accept. No. Yes, before you were born, everything was known, but not decided. Allah knows what decision you are making. Allah knows what type of free choices you are going to make. But He let it for you to decide. So, there is no way to understand Qadaa and Qadar in the way that contradicts our responsibility. For example, I want to marry. I don't open my eyes. I don't think it's written in my destiny. It's written whom I'm going to marry. If it was written, why we have so many hadiths in which they give recommendations about what type of a spouse to choose? There was no point in giving these recommendations. It's not destined. Your job, your type of study, your friends, all you can choose. And this is why we have instructions, recommendations for all of them. Okay? Yes. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sometimes may have a firm decision that He has decided this is going to happen. Normally these are very few, and these are normally not for individuals. Normally. I will give you an example for individuals, but normally this is for humanity. For example, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has decided, this is very rare, but one of the rare things that Allah has decided that has to happen is لَقَدْ كَتَبْنَا فِي الزَّبُورِ مِنْ بَعْدِ الذِّكْرِ أَنَّ الْأَرْضَ يَرِثُهَا عِبَادِيَ الصَّالِحُونَ. He has made firm decision that at the end this world should be inherited by the righteous servants of Allah. Imam Mahdi should come. and fill the earth with justice and equity. This is one of the decisions that Allah has made, no matter who wants it or doesn't want it. Okay? This is fair. But even this decision is left for people to let it happen in their time or postpone it. Finally, it's going to happen, but it's not forced. You see how beautiful is Allah's way of giving us freedom. Even this is one of the very exceptional decisions that He has made for humanity, but still He is patient. He doesn't force, because actually there is no point in forcing. If He wanted to force, He could have done it in the beginning of history. Yeah? He wants humanity to be part of this. لِيَقُومَ النَّاسُ بِالْقِسْطِ. People should uprise and establish this. So, sometimes Allah has a firm decision that is going to happen, but still He would not take away our freedom. Can there be also something similar for individuals? The answer is yes, it's possible. But even here, if Allah has a firm decision for someone, still He would not take away his or her free will. It's a beautiful story that you should listen very carefully. For example, Pharaoh exceeded in zulm and went beyond any limit. Yeah? And you know, zulm is very destructive, and when it reaches a certain limit, the norm and the law of the creation is that it cannot be tolerated. Yeah? Drinking alcohol can be tolerated till you die. Okay? Or for example, other sins, most of personal sins. But zulm has a limit, that if someone reaches that limit, even in dunya will be destroyed. Okay? Pharaoh reached that limit, that he had to be stopped. He had to be stopped. There was no more room for doing zulm. So Allah had a firm decision here. Okay? That zulm of Pharaoh has to be stopped. But did Allah force Pharaoh? No. Did Allah force Musa? No. Did Allah force anyone? No. So this is the whole question. How can you materialize your plan without forcing people? Okay, this is the wisdom of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What did He do? He made a special plan that Musa alayhi salam should stop Pharaoh's zulm. He made a plan. And he actually informed Pharaoh about this plan. Normally, we hide our plans from the enemy because we are very worried. If my enemy knows my plan, he can have a counter plan and I don't succeed, or I may even be defeated. But Allah is different. Allah makes the plan and doesn't inform Musa, informs the enemy. Musa was not yet born. Yes? He made a plan, and in Pharaoh's dream, Allah informed him that someone is going to be born into Bani Israel, that he's going to stop your zulm. Pharaoh thought he is very clever. He said, now that I know what God is going to do, I can stop it. Okay? So he said, every son born to Bani Israel should be killed, thinking that he can stop Allah's plan to materialize. This made actually the situation worse, because he created enmity and hatred against himself. There were many families who lost their children. They became all supporters of Musa. So you are already creating supporters for your future enemy. Okay? Because Musa needs people who support him, who are better than the family of the martyrs. These are martyrs. Then, mother of Musa, who by no means was going ever to leave her child because of fear that Pharaoh created, accepted to leave the child in this basket and sent. Again, if Pharaoh was not doing this, Musa was remaining with his mother. Okay? And then look at Allah's plan. This child went to that branch of the Nile, because one branch, maybe artificially or naturally, was going to the palace. Yeah? And exactly at the time that Pharaoh and his wife were there, they saw this, basket is coming, and there is a, cry or something. They heard there's a child. And they didn't have children. So they had interest. If they had, 12 children, why do you want, this baby? Yeah? They had no children also. And this baby looked so nice. Allah put love of this baby in the heart of Pharaoh. Pharaoh, whose heart was very, like a stone, but Allah put love into the heart of Pharaoh. And then they decided to take this baby as a child. With a little, of course, imagination, I'm not saying 100%, but it seems that as soon as they adopted the baby, then he started crying. He looks now for someone to feed. If at the beginning was crying, I don't think they had interest. But then, now they have to find someone. They tried any woman to feed and foster, and he refused. Look at the plan of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now the mother of Musa is asked by Pharaoh to look after her baby. No mother was able to have her son with her, even in their home. But now mother of Musa looks after her son in the palace of Pharaoh, and no one can touch her or the baby. Okay? This baby has the maximum security. No one can look at Musa even with bad intention. The best food, the best training is present. And because at that time fighting was very important, they made sure that Musa becomes a very good fighter. So the best military, instructors and trainers were brought to make Musa a very brave and strong, because son of Pharaoh has to be very strong and brave. And also Musa is brought up in the house of Pharaoh. And as a little child, he was everywhere going without everyone stopping him. If Pharaoh has meeting and he comes, if he knows he's speaking to anyone, Musa is there and witnessing and learning everything. Maybe two people knew the mentality of Pharaoh better than others. One was wife of Pharaoh, one was Musa. And you know, for future mission of Musa, how important it is that he knows the mentality of Pharaoh and he knows all the things about Pharaoh. Yeah, it's very important. And then, when a time comes that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives the mission to Musa and gives him miracles, and now he has to convince people that he is a prophet. It's not easy to convince people that he's a prophet and people should listen to him. Who accepts to be the campaign manager for Musa? Pharaoh. Pharaoh, without knowing, unknowingly becomes the campaign manager of Musa. How? He says, we should choose a place that is available to everyone. Makanan suwa. In a place that everyone can come. In a time that all come, Yawmuz Zina, there was a feast. And to leave no chance for anyone to doubt, we bring the best magicians, not of the town, of all over the country. Can there be any way better for Musa to prove that what he is doing is not magic than what Pharaoh planned? He brought everyone in the day of feast and the best magicians to disprove Musa, but indeed he demonstrated that Musa is a man of God. And then what happened, which was the worst thing, is those best magicians were the first people to believe in Musa. To frighten them, he did even something worse. To frighten them, he said, I'm going to crucify you. And they said, La Vayra. Can you imagine, the magicians who have come to defeat you, they believe in you to the extent that they say, we don't care about our life. So who did all this? Pharaoh. So Allah has a plan, but He doesn't force His plan. He is able to put His plan into practice, even using His enemies freely. When they think they are very clever and they want to stop the plan of God, they actually become agents for God. And this is the meaning of makaru wa makar Allah. Normally, people interpret, they make a plan, Allah make a plan, Allah's plan is better. But my understanding is different. It's not that they make a plan, Allah makes a plan, and Allah's plan is better. I say many times, it's that they make a plan, Allah makes a better plan that takes them and their plan all together at the service of His own plan. This is the best planner. That your enemy works very hard. They tire themselves not knowing that they are helping Allah's plan. And there are many examples in our age. If you look carefully around, you would see how people like Saddam and other people, they worked hard, but actually, at the end, they managed to materialize part of the plan of God. This doesn't justify their zulm, this doesn't justify their mischief. No, but it means that no matter how much mischief they did, they could not stop the plan of Allah, and indeed they made it worse for themselves, but better for justice, better for the truth. يُرِيدُونَ لِيُطْفِئُوا نُورَ اللَّهِ. They want to extinguish the light of Allah بِأَفْوَاهِهِمْ, with their mouth. So they blow into the fire, but when you blow into the fire, it becomes even stronger. So, Qadaa is not contradicting free will. Even if Allah has a firm decision for humanity or a person or a community or nation, still they are free. Nothing is forced on them, and Allah materializes that free. If Pharaoh really wanted to be clever, he could have changed things for good. As soon as he had the dream, he could have repented. He could have stopped his behavior. There was no problem. But he insisted and insisted and made everything worse for himself. Inshallah, I have to add a little bit to this discussion next week because I want to talk a little bit more about dua and sadaqah and sali rahim, how they can help us. And then inshallah we continue with the rest of the unit inshallah. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin.